Well, some breaking news. Adam Jonas is no longer covering Tesla. How about that? And we'll have details about that and also the first note from the new guy, Andrew Percoco. And it's quite a note. Wait till you hear it. Tesla's down a bit in the overnights as the pre-market right now is flat, but we'll check just barely because I already did that earlier tonight. We'll check where everything is at the end. Scott Bessent has done multiple appearances over the past 3 days. Lots of critical info. We will have a summary. And then Elon Musk, super active on X over the weekend, and we'll cover the critical parts of what he had to say. All right, so taking them in no particular order, let's start with analyst Andrew Percoco. He's taken over the coverage from longtime Tesla bull Adam Jonas. I wonder whether we'll still hear from Adam at all on this because we'd miss him. So the new analyst downgraded the stock to equal weight from overweight, while raising the base case price to 425 from 410. Well, if the base case is 425 and we're sitting at 450 something, then you can understand why he might call it equal weight. But he also increased his bull case target to $860 from what it was at 800, adding $60 a share of value specifically because of the Tesla Optimus humanoid robot business. Their first time that they're really including it in their numbers, according to the story. Now, key points from the note. Tesla remains a leader in EVs, renewable energy, real-world AI, and robotics, deserving a premium valuation, which they certainly get. However, the stock's current multiple, trading at 30 times estimated 2030 EBITDA, also prices in much of the non-auto growth story, he says. And the near-term risks like softer EV demand and potential downside to consensus estimates warrant caution. I don't know where he gets a downside to EV demand. For the first time in years, Elon Musk has said we have 3 million capacity, and we're going to be dramatically increasing what we're going to be shipping. And of course, you know my position on that. The bull case 860 assumes, okay, like I'm doing that now. I'm giving you some assumptions when I'm making my cases. That assumes successful scaling of unsupervised FSD, robotaxi expansion, and Optimus production. I guess just production, which is what Elon Musk said the other day, when production happens, that is offering an 89% upside from recent levels. The bear case is 145, embedding zero value for humanoids and slower growth amid competition and regulation. Yeah, so you got to have something on that other side, right? This is effectively a more cautious stance than the prior overweight rating, despite the price target hikes. All right, then, like I said, Elon, he was busy posting this weekend his key issues. First of all, okay, he's having a real battle with Europe. Of course, you and I want Europe to become another great playground for Tesla vehicles and robotaxi and eventually Optimus, etc. But the Europeans, well, let's say half of the Europeans are doing really stupid stuff. And Elon is like, he's frustrated, I think, as I am, by what we're seeing over there. He's repeatedly calling for I don't know, repeatedly is the right word here. He's calling for the dissolution of the EU and accusing it of being undemocratic, an unelected bureaucracy that's smothering Europe to death. Key posts included that the EU should be abolished and sovereignty returned to the individual countries, dissolve the EU and return power to the people. The European Union is not a democracy, the rule of the people, but rather bureaucracy, rule of the unelected bureaucrat. His complaints about the infamous accepted cookies pop-up as a symbol of EU overreach. This comes amid a fresh 120 million euro fine on X for DSA violations related to blue check transparency. Such a bizarre thing that is. I've read into it. Maybe I'll cover it in a day or two, which Musk and the Trump administration figures slammed as an attack on free speech. And you can guess that I think there's probably going to be a response from the Trump administration. Okay, then he says that X becomes the #1 news app across the entire EU. So Musk celebrated X overtaking legacy media and state outlets to become the top news app in all 27 EU countries. Ironically, the same bloc that's been fining and regulating the platform heavily. He highlighted record downloads in Europe, framing it as a win for free speech despite regulatory pressure. He goes on then with this really big statement. He says this is about the space-based AI. In a highly discussed thread, Musk outlined a bold roadmap for overcoming Earth's power constraints on AI training. Near term, orbiting satellites with onboard AI compute, beaming back only results via Starlink lasers, enabling 100 gigawatts a year of new power with no maintenance. Then the second part would be long-term, lunar factories and electromagnetic mass drivers, railguns to launch AI satellites without rockets, scaling to 100 terawatts a year and advancing toward 𝐒𝐿𝐴 type 2 civilization status. If you don't watch what's it called, Peter Diamandis' program, then you're probably not hearing that much about the Kardashev type 2 civilization, but it kind of suggests that we're going to have to mine the moon to zero, like mine the entire thing. It would be completely gone. Anyway, he teased this along with Starship and Starlink progress and a major undervalued factor in SpaceX's valuation. But at the same time, he's denying reports of an $800 billion fundraising round. Now, Larry Goldberg said the other day that the company is being valued at $800 billion by outside, I think, auditors, but it has to do with employees receiving their stock offerings, et cetera, et cetera. Don't know. That's all I know. That's it. I don't know any more than that. This is, by the way, this is Randy Kirk. Please like and subscribe. I need subscribers. Really, really low subscription rates right now. Please subscribe. Also, I'm getting lots more orders now as we get closer to Christmas. Please make sure you say whether you want camouflage or whether you want the regular stainless steel look when you place your order. But as we get closer to Christmas, I have to decide whether to put another order in or not. And so the best thing you can do is place your orders quickly to make sure that I might get caught in between and end up not having any inventory. Okay, then we got Scott Bessent. He was like all over the place. He was on CBS Face the Nation. He was on the Deal Book Summer on December 3rd and 4th. And then he was also earlier appearances last week on CNBC, Fox Business. He's like been all over the place. And so we took like an analysis of everything that he said and what were the key takeaways. Number one, a strong economy and holiday season. Besson has repeatedly described the economy as better than expected with strong holiday shopping across all income levels. He's predicting a 3% GDP growth to close 2025, driven by prior quarters of robust performance. Right now, we're looking at GDP now saying 4% for the third quarter. If we had a 3% fourth quarter, that would really be a solid ending to the year. Then number two, he says he's evolved when it comes to his opinions about tariffs. He was, I would say, not pressured. He was, he was asked what happened to his position that tariffs are a horrible thing and that we shouldn't use them. Bessent says he fully supports President Trump's broad tariffs, saying he has evolved and the president has been right. He argues tariffs open foreign markets, generate revenue, and haven't caused widespread inflation, which is absolutely 100% true. And what I said way back when, before he was even elected, is these types of tariffs, if they're used to make sure you're protecting strategic industries, are absolutely monumentally right. And then number two, right after he was elected, I realized what he was trying to do to help the middle class and the working classes. And I realized once again, if we don't bring back manufacturing to the U.S., we're not going to have a vibrant middle class or working class. So those two alone, and then if you add in the revenues, man, what a deal. Number three, tariffs are not inflationary. He emphasized that any short-term price bumps from tariffs are offset by reduced deficit spending, which has fueled past inflation, and eventual reshoring of manufacturing, turning tariff revenues into wages and corporate income. Number four, Trump Accounts Initiative. He says the government will seed $1,000 into tax-deferred, low-cost index fund accounts for children that were born between 2025 and 2028. No restrictions on withdrawal after their age 18. Philanthropists like the Dell family are topping up existing accounts, aiming for a shareholder economy with financial literacy programs. So the idea is that maybe other billionaires and zillionaires will contribute to this. And so instead of $1,000, maybe kids will have a head start with a couple of thousand or 3,000. And then, when they're 18 years old, they'll have, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000, which might be really helpful. Number five, alternative tariff authorities. He said, even if the Supreme Court strikes down certain tariff mechanisms, the administration can replicate them using sections of the 1962 Trade Act, for example, 301, 232, and 122. You want to look those up and figure it? Never mind. All right, number six, trade deals and China compliance. China is honoring their commitments with regard to massive soybean purchases and other deals with U.S. farmers. Besson highlights subsidies for agriculture and also progress on rare earths, de-risking the supply chains with regard to rare earths. Number seven, inflation and affordability relief ahead. He says the administration inherited embedded inflation from prior spending, but now we've got that's easing with falling energy prices, interest rates coming down, tax cut extensions, and pro-growth policies that will boost real incomes, which is already happening by 1% so far, and delivering big refunds and higher take-home pay in 2026, which I've talked about repeatedly on the channel. Number eight, he says fraud investigations and cleanup. Federal authorities, including the IRS under Besson as acting commissioners, are aggressively probing fraud, for instance, in like the Minnesota programs, tracking misappropriated funds sent overseas via unregulated channels. Number nine, he has an optimistic growth outlook for 2026 with no recession expected, driven by the things that are going to really make it a great year are deregulation, which I keep forgetting to mention when I'm giving my list, tax permanence, people can count on it, manufacturing resurgence, which is guaranteed, and coordinated fiscal monetary policy once we get rid of Chair Powell. Number 10, he says Fed and policy coordination. He's interviewed Fed chair candidates favoring a simpler, less vocal central bank focused on long-term stability. He hints at closer Treasury Fed alignment to prioritize growth over strict independence. All right, let's take a look at where Tesla is in the overnights. Real quick here, oh goodness, I changed something, and here we go. We've got down $1.42, so 453.58. I think I'm happy with that. We'll see what happens tomorrow. The rest of the market right now is definitely flat. Let's see here. China expect, okay, nothing there. Okay, so we've got the equities for tomorrow are definitely super flat, but I can't find them. They're completely gone. They're not in here. Here we go. Yeah, 100%. The NASDAQ is up 0.2. That is the highest. The rest are even less than that. So I'm expecting flat. I'm not expecting a ton before Wednesday. I mentioned that earlier today. I think with regard to Tesla, I think we'll continue to ease our way up, even in a flat market. I think it'll be just kind of moving on up because all the news is good. And then at some point, announcements are going to be made. We don't know when that's going to be, but when those announcements are made, it's going to be Katie, bar the door. All right, we got earlier tonight, I did the regular Monday morning show, which of course is always on Sunday night. It had tons of important news. Now, it's also had tons of people watch it, so maybe you've already seen it, but here's the card if you want to go back and check that. And then this morning, Phil Beisel gave an amazing, as he always does, from an engineering standpoint, computer science standpoint, he gave an analysis of the AI4 chip, and where we are on it right now and what has to happen next. He also talked a little bit more about FSD. Very good conversation about what's happening with FSD, and even more. There was more to that, and so I'll put up both of those cards for you to go and check those out. Normal programming tomorrow. I'm already in contact with Brian White, so Brian White will be on tomorrow night, and Larry Goldberg has also said he's free and available. So regular programming, as all. Oh, buy the book. Get your order in now. Go on down below. Check it out. Place your order. It's been great talking to you.